That's the way I like my podcasts delivered in a what is it, a snackable episode?
Right.
Uh-oh, Joe's groggy.
And it's been a long week, man.
Well, if you weren't out watching wrestling till the late hours of the evening every other day now.
I know. Not optimal, but, this is how these things go,
I'm just going to say, I can't tell you how betrayed I feel and upset that I wasn't one of the 4 people to use those near ringside seats. I may never watch wrestling again, Joe, because...
Well, if this is the thing that tips you over, Todd, I'm glad I had something to do with it,
Right. So I was very sad that I wasn't one of the 4, but I do want to know what the measurement between the second row and the ring apron is, because I know there's some legal papers that say some people can't be a certain footage from,
Well, obviously, we'll end up talking more about it on At Odds this week. And, if you're a patron, you're here this early,
Mm-hmm.
But there was a match that was coming up. So so earlier in the day, we're talking about Monday Night Raw came to our area this past Monday because it's Raw and it's live and it's Monday.
Right.
And one of the exclusive shirts that they had there was a Stone Cold shirt, and on the front it said Wilkes-Barre 316.
Yeah, spelled just the way they spell Wilkes-Barre.
Now, for some reason, the E in Wilkes-Barre had an accent mark over it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the thing that everyone thought was very funny about it.
Yep.
And our mutual friend, Jenna, who is, they grew up in this area with us. They've since moved out to the West Coast. And they mentioned that they wanted one of them, contacted our friend Mike. He wasn't going. I'm like, I'll get it for you. No problem.
Yeah.
So we're standing in line, and Adam says, like, oh, well, you can just, there's this QR code thing here. You can just scan it, order it, and go pick it up later. I'm like, well, I could do that. I don't want to stand in a line, right? So myself, DJ, and Brett all do that. We get the notifications, and it says you got to go pick it up at section whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So about an hour or so in the show, they're like, oh, coming up next, it's these 2 guys wrestling, right? And we're like, I'm like, yeah, you want to go get our stuff, right? So they're like, yeah. And I'm like, Adam, you want anything while we're gone? A drinky poo, something to eat? No, I'm good. Okay. So we go, and we run into some friends, including Stan Malibu, who was there.
Stan was there, probably getting behind the scenes.
I'll just throw this out there. I got better comp seats than he did. And our friend Tom was there, and he had, like, we were all on the floor, and our friend Tom was there, and he had comp seats, but his comp seats were, like, up in the 116 section.
Right.
So we were ribbing him. And I said, because I said to Jerry, I got better comp seats than you. And he goes, yeah, we both got better than Tom, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So we go back in, and because we're glad-handed with them, and as we're going in is when Alexa Bliss was making her entrance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out that we ended up letting Adam have that moment to himself.
Right.
When she makes the entrance and does her whole thing on the apron and everything else like that. None of us were there to, like, get in his way, I guess.
Right, to let him bask in it.
Yeah, right.
He's a bona fide bastard.
DJ was there, or Brett was there, Alexa would have been distracted by one of us.
Yes.
Adam there in a row where there's like a gap of seats behind him. He's stuck out like a sore thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So she had no choice but to notice him, I'm sure.
Sure. And then DJ told me about sneaking past Adam to sit down right after that. So
yes.
But DJ was wearing his Wilkes-Barre 316 shirt, and I told him I had a Sharpie in the truck, and I could take that little, I could make that go away on the black shirt if he wanted.
Right.
So.
Well, listen, you let me know next time the World Wrestling Entertainment comes to town,
mm-hmm.
and you want to go. I'll say 5, please.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How many Lily things did Adam buy, or are you going to save that for the purchase section of your podcast.
No, I don't know. I don't know what Adam buys with his money. I don't keep track of him. He's, I try to put up a blind eye to what he spends his money on until the show, so it's a nice surprise. But they had the Lily dolls, and I guess a bunch of kids from my kid's school went to the show.
Right.
And he goes, and my kid's like, I guess a bunch of kids went. I'm like, oh, that's cool, And he goes, they got this weird doll thing. I go, yeah. I go, that's Lily. She's a possessed evil doll. He goes, oh, that's kind of cool. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Right.
It's not cool. It's kind of lame, but whatever. He's a kid. They're supposed to think, whatever is cool.
Right. So I was flicking through the stations last night.
Okay.
And it can't, obviously USA went by, and I stopped. I was like, okay, let me look at this for a second. Maybe I'll live tweet it. But then when I saw how quiet the fans could be for a Raw.
Don't do this to me.
What?
I'm saving that for the other show. We're not talking about it here.
That's why I'm tweaking it. I wouldn't even have known about it unless you signal boosted them. You know what I mean?
I know, and I hate doing that. But that guy, and again, it's after dark. It's not supposed to be wrestling talk, but it's wrestling talk. Mm-hmm. But that guy, I think, has like a weird kink where he purposely puts like bad wrestling takes on social media, so people just like dunk on him.
Right.
And he gets off by getting like people yelling at him online.
Oh, well, hey, I don't kink shame, so.
Well, listen, I don't kink shame. I certainly kink I don't kink understand.
Right. I don't even want to know what you do.
Oh, I kink call attention to. How about that?
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yes.
And then my last thing that I will say is if you guys didn't flick your tickets at JBL, I would be very upset.
The arena is paperless.
That's what DJ said, and I was like, fuck.
Now, if I knew Gibbles was going to be there, because when we went to AEW, not that you could see it, but I'm getting it for effect.
Right,
when we went to AEW in Jersey on Friday, and I picked up my comps, we had physical tickets.
Right.
And when I went to my seats there, to nobody in particular, I was flicking my ticket as I walked down to my seat.
Fantastic, because that's what I would have done. At least you could have maybe flashed your phone. I don't know. But,
it's not the same.
It's not. It's really not, but I was like, hey, I'm going
to go to the box office. Excuse me, do you know if John Bradshaw Layfield is going to be here today? I don't know. Okay, just in case he is, can you print me out one physical ticket?
Hey.
Why? Okay, there was this pay-per-view 16 years ago.
Right.
No, wait, don't call the police. Hang on, I'm almost done.
Right. As they drag you away, you're yelling so the ticket attendant can hear you.
If I had my physical ticket, this wouldn't be happening.
That's right. I can't be escorted out. But it's just, I was like, oh, you could have used, I would have done it. That's what Josh did at the Jack White concert. So I would have done it. And then you could have made fun of him in his big boy pants. So that's all I know.
Right. But that's the thing. Everything is paperless at the arena now, Right. I
hated it because even when I went to see Alice Cooper, I was like, oh, I got to use my credit card for like whatever. Like there's no money. There's no paper. I'm like, I'm I like cash.
Yeah.
That's how they get you, is by using all your credit cards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad you had fun, unless you didn't. Save it for your other show. I found out you didn't go out and eat or anything like that, right?
No, I get to school. Like, listen, I was out on the school night. Jokingly, my thought process was going to be, I was going to go by myself. If I got comps, I was going to go by myself and just stay for the 2 quote-unquote dark matches.
Mm-hmm.
So I could send the information play-by-play to Words.
Oh, okay.
And then go home. Not stay for the whole show,
Now, when you send those to Words, do you text them just to like be, or DM them, to words who's not you in any way, shape, or form, just for the bit, or do you just tell yourself?
I send an actual DM to actual words, you know?
There you go. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
But, well, you know, maybe next time I will go. When it's that close, how could I say no?
Right. And this is the first time we got Monday Night Raw in like 5 years. We typically get SmackDown. We'll get house shows, live events every now and then. But I'm hoping one day AEW comes to town, because that would be awesome.
Well, that would be cool. I do know certain referees don't know what day of the week it is. I'll say that sometimes. Because I was at our local shop today and DJ and our retailer was telling that there was 2 referees in the shop the other day.
Yes, on Sunday, yes.
Right. So they were there, but they never stooged off that they were referees or that they worked for WWE.
Right.
It was just the way that they were saying it was like, oh, well, you know, we're going to WWE, whatever. We're going to the arena for wrestling tomorrow. And he's like, oh, like, have fun. And the way they were saying it's like, well, you'll see her there. And he's like, I don't understand what they're saying. And then he was like, oh, it's Raw. And the one guy's like, no, it's SmackDown. No, wait, tomorrow's Monday. I'm doing SmackDown. So I'm like, but he had no clue that they were refs or whatever until they tweeted out that they were refs and like tagged the shot.
To give them the benefit of the doubt, okay? Mm-hmm. They did just fly in on the corporate jet from Saudi Arabia that morning.
And boy, are their arms tired. But no, I get it.
So I can understand how they might be a little punchy as to what day it is.
That's fine. It was just, this is the story I was getting as he was telling DJ. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, okay. I mean, what's his face? One of the, I forget the names now. One of the New Day was there a few years ago. So maybe he stooged it off to them, you know? That there was a shop in town. So
right.
Look at that. All the stars of WWE go to Comics on the Green.
It's the only game in town. What are you going to do, you know?
That's right. As I always say, I always wondered when he won those awards, you know, how every year they'd have like the best pizza place, the best steak and cheese. And I always asked him, I said, what's better? When you won the awards when you had competition, or when you won the awards after you stomped them all out? You were the only winner. He'd never answer.
Yeah. Well, it's like Dave is like the Vince McMahon of comic book shops in the area.
Yeah, sure.
He started small. He offered to buy everyone out. Mm-hmm. Dyes his hair weird colors.
Oh my God!
Eats steak and ketchup wraps. No, that's not Dave.
I hope it doesn't end the same way.
I don't know. Vince is doing all right. He's okay. He was out to eat Sunday night with his new lady friend.
Wait a minute. I thought he was married.
What?
Okay. But anyway.
On paper, I think they still are, but that's about it.
Right. And if anybody wants to know all the cool things Joe is saying behind the scenes in the doll chat about WWE, I could tell you a lot of stuff. So just PayPal me.
The going rate is $30 for that sort of thing.
Right. But for me, it's $25. I always undercut.
Oh, my goodness. So what have you been up to? How was your weekend?
Remarkably low key. I didn't do anything. I just stayed home and watched my Raiders give up a 17-point lead to lose said game. And as I tweeted out, I had a conversation with my refrigerator. And then I just watch TV for the rest of the day. I don't do anything. I don't think I'll be doing anything until maybe I go out and see Black Panther or Wakanda Forever this weekend. So that's just my life right now. With the sun going down earlier, I'm like solar powered. I don't have the energy.
Gotcha.
But to close out one story, I did get in my Otto T figures.
Oh, yes.
So the loop is closed. I got them. I'm happy with them. I gave Adam his that he bought, because we got them together. And if you ask me if they do it again, now that Otto T ended up saying that the tags at the store, all you have to do is use a picture of them at any checkout. I would buy figures off them again until it goes completely, like, if they really screw up. But now that all the questions are answered, I'm fine with it. And unless they rocket down in price on eBay, because a lot of people still have them online thinking they're super rare. They're like, oh, like you might still be able to take the picture of the UPC code that Otto T tweeted out and go to the store and try to buy them. They might still have some in stock, but people have them on eBay like $125. And it's like, no, I could just buy these for $40 with $2.40 shipping.
Right.
So but you did ask me, so I would do it again if they had a figure I wanted.
So you weren't completely turned off by the whole process, even though the process sounded to be like a disaster.
Right. The process was a disaster, and they weren't answering any questions. But once we figured out all the answers without their help, I don't mind the process, if that makes any sense. Like, now I know what all the variables are. Like, oh, okay, you don't have to find the tag, and, there's only 6 of them in a store. They have more than 6. Like, those could be used again. How quick are they going to turn around and send them out? And it was like 15 business days. And for the people who ordered them the first day, it was like 17 business days and they shipped. So I'm like, okay, that's not 14, 15 months. That's an extra day or two. Everybody slow your roll in the toy world that we live in today. If they give you a shipping date of 15 days and it's 17, that's not the worst thing in the world.
No, believe me. Believe you me,
And the people bitching about 2 days extra to ship. I'm like, you don't get to bitch.
I take into consideration anything in that like time frame that could be even if it's a holiday that the post office does ship on.
Mm-hmm.
If my time frame includes one of those holidays, I write that holiday off.
Right.
Because even though the post office is running that day, I still consider it a holiday. And I'm like, that just adds an extra day to whatever I'm doing, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And then because I ordered late, you know what I mean? I still got shipped within if they got theirs shipped on the 17th day, mine shipped on the 18th or the 19th for them. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So when they were shipping them all out, like when they started they just started shipping every order, even if you ordered like 2 weeks after them. And I was like, okay, well, they don't have my money for 2 extra weeks, whatever. I don't know. It just doesn't seem as bad,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right. And to kind of give you maybe the positive iteration of this. So let me see when this was. Excuse me. Back in August, right?
Right.
I ordered a game for my kid. It's a game that you can get digitally. But if you order it directly from the manufacturer, you can get a physical edition that comes with a whole bunch of extra shit, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm a physical guy. I'm always concerned about storage space on any of his devices, especially when I get his daily email thing, because he's still a kid, so I get everything that he downloads every day.
Right.
And he's downloading 7 new games a day on his phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh, such and such is running slow. I'm like, you got so many goddamn apps on your phone, right?
Right.
So the Switch is the same way. I'm like, if we can go physical with the games, we'll go physical with the games, okay? So I ordered this thing at the beginning of August 5th to be exact. And they say that it's going to ship December. That's it. That could be December 1st, that could be December 31st, okay?
Right.
And I'm like, I'm rolling the dice on that coming in for Christmas, but I'm taking that risk upon myself.
Right.
There's a chance that could not come in until after Christmas, but it's something that my kid doesn't even know. But anyway, so over the weekend, I get an email from them that says, hey, it's actually going to ship this upcoming Friday, the 11th.
Oh, good.
Boom. So, this thing that I had my fingers crossed, I'm like, let's hope it ships before December or whatever, is actually shipping a month early.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not, and this is not a big company. It's not NECA or whatever. It's an independent game publisher that's doing like a boutique edition physical copy of like one of their games.
Right.
So again, listen, anytime you order anything in this day and age and you're waiting on a physical product, no matter what the process to do it is, you're taking a risk. I'm glad your risk paid out for you, and I'm glad that it did not scare you off from trying this again, at least because I'm sad that this customer service involved with it was so poor.
Yeah, but these are the guys who do Loot Crate too. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care. They're getting their money,
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, like I said, I'll try it again, but it will be only what I'm truly, truly interested in. Like, I didn't get any of the black and white figures or anything. So, yeah, it didn't scare me off. But.
Does Loot Crate even still exist?
Yes. And because I got one of the figures, well, I didn't buy the Loot Crate. I eBayed it. That they had a Mirage figure in one of their limited edition 4-crate things. We've talked about it here on the show and in personal kind of a thing. That was a 4-crate thing. And the one I wanted was like the 3rd crate, but it shipped first. And then they shipped... Oh, no, they shipped the 1st crate first, and then they shipped the 3rd crate second. Then they shipped the 4th crate, which had the 2 figures that if you ordered all 4 crates, you got like an extra special figure. You got that. And the 2nd crate hasn't shipped at all. And they were supposed to be out like a year ago. And then like their other monthly crates, like they're just pumping those out with shit in them. That almost have nothing to do with the genre or whatever. Like they have, like say they have a Doctor Who Loot Crate or a horror Loot Crate. They're just throwing whatever they have in them so they can get them in people's hands. And it'll be like, oh, I got a horror crate and I was supposed to get this shirt was advertised. That shirt's not in there. And there'll be like weird, like borderline horror items in it. So they could just mark them off and go, yeah, Better Business Bureau can't say anything now because we sent shit out. Just because I follow it in a group on Facebook because I was waiting for that one figure and I never left it, but people still complain all the time about Loot Crate.
Yeah, so why did I think Loot Crate was like filed for bankruptcy and were like done?
They did a few years ago, maybe, and then they got bought out by NECA. That's who bought them. And then NECA was supposed to pay off. Now, this is all allegedly that, like I see online, that NECA was supposed to pay off their past either debts or taxes, and they didn't. And a lot of the Loot Crate stuff was being held in warehouses, either because there was a lien put on them or they didn't have the money to pay for them to ship. It was one or the other. And then all of a sudden, like they did that Target where I got the Fugitoid figure where they're like, oh, it's Haulathon. We're going to have exclusive figures there. And then maybe the Walmart deal. And that would be an influx of cash really quick. And then the stuff would move from the warehouse. Now, like, I don't know if the next batch of stuff is going to get held up or if that was enough money to get the pipes flow, But either way, I look at it as a bit of an opportunity, if you get my meaning.
Oh, sure. I'm all about the opportunity.
So I'm hoping that they don't do any Mirage Loot Crate figures anymore. And if they do, I'm only going to buy them after, like, I'm not going to buy them from Loot Crate. I'll be like, all right, are they out? I'll pay secondary market on that stuff because it was almost 2 years before that figure hit the market. But you wouldn't know anything about that. You get all your figures right on time.
Right. Okay.
So
yeah, because I'm looking here, I see. Okay, yeah, it's still a thing. That's pretty crazy. I really thought it was like done.
Yeah. People are having trouble stopping their subscriptions. That's the word I was looking for. Like the subscription to, like, say, the Star Wars crates or the Marvel crates, that they can't get in touch with anybody. Like the service that we talked about with Otto T. Like you email and you get a robot, and like unless you have your like credit card, like shut them off. Like you go to your credit card company and say, I'm done. Like there was no way to shut them off from the website. And then they ended up saying that you couldn't pay with PayPal anymore. Gee, I wonder why, because after so many days, you could just ask for a refund. So they're like, PayPal, we don't do PayPal anymore because, we don't like them or whatever. I was like, no, you don't like it because everybody could immediately get their refunds with PayPal.
Well, listen, they're trying to, trying to make a buck in this tough economy.
Yep.
Trying to prevent you from stopping giving them their bucks,
Yep. But I have one last question for you, unless you have anything to...
No, I'm good. I was ready to wrap it up, but go ahead.
How's my van?
Your van is still here.
Oh, okay.
I was informed by someone that I need to get the magistrate involved.
Ooh.
As opposed to calling the police. The magistrate might do something a little bit sooner about it, but being the fact that the county I live in had to extend the polls an extra 2 hours because they ran out of paper at polling places.
Right.
I'm going to wait till next week to call.
What?
Yeah.
I don't think they're busy at all now, and they won't be counting those ballots for a week,
Right.
What is it? It's Fetterman versus the Prince of Pennsylvania, Dr. Oz.
Yeah, the prince.
Yeah, lived here his whole life. Pennsylvania's #1 son. But anyway, well, I hope the magistrate could do something.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yep.
I know, and just lastly, there was concern with us meeting up for Raw on Monday,
Yeah.
Where we're going to leave our cars. Like, my thought was, like, we're going to leave our cars and, like, walk there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And DJ's like, no, we'll just meet. We'll all go in one car and I'll pay to park, right? We're getting free tickets, whatever. So when we were going back and forth about figuring where we were going to park, we're like, what about here? What about there? What about there? And DJ was like, well, what if we get a ticket on our car? I go, if we get a ticket on our car, I'll just collect them and I'll put them on the van in front of my house.
That's a good joke.
Yeah. We'll see if that does anything,
You know how many people park at the mall for the arena?
Yes.
And then just cross that busy stretch of road?
Yes.
Do you know how many times I've done that?
At least 5 times.
Yep. And then I stopped when I got, I was gassed 3/4 of the way across the street. Now I drive over. Did you have to pay for parking?
Yeah.
Somebody.
So it wasn't me. Somebody else paid.
Right. Because like I said, when I went to Alice Cooper, we were supposed to pay for parking. And we pulled in, and every person just kept waving us to the next person.
Okay.
And then before we knew it, we were in a spot. And I was like, well, fuck them. I'm not paying.
Yeah.
Nobody asked me for money before I parked my car. After I parked my car, that's on you, buddy. You know what I mean?
That's right.
But no, they I don't know if they stopped at some point. So I was wondering if maybe, WWE was going to eat that for the fans because they love it.
No.
Like, we'll eat the parking fee. So if they had ate the parking fee, then the fans would have been louder Monday night, Joe.
All right. That's a good enough way to close out the show. Everyone, thank you very much for listening to Longbox Heroes After Dark 417. Amazon affiliate link is in the show notes. TeePublic sales probably after Black Friday. Patreon.com/longboxheroes. And there's probably going to be a surprise on the Patreon for non-Patreon folks.
You're listening
next
to the
week.
soon-to-be
And if you know your comics
network,
history, you know
the
what's up.
Lamborghini of podcast networks.